All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to this interview with the wonderful Dhana. How are you going?
Good. Hey everyone. Hey Mackenzie. Thanks for having me here. And it sounds awesome to be here, part of this podcast conversation. I used to watch a lot, but yeah, happy to be a part of it.
Amazing. It's really good to have you. Thanks for taking some time out of your day. I'm sure you're pretty busy. So, Dhana, where are you working at the moment?
Cool. I'm working in PWC, like PricewaterhouseCoopers, the Big Four, and I'm working as a risk consultant, risk analyst, so whatever you can call it as. So yeah, I'm working in PWC Adelaide. I'm based in Adelaide, by the way, like as you can see, that's
Awesome. I think we're all curious. What does a risk analyst or risk consultant typically do?
but it's not a risky job. Cool. Risk consultant is like, so you just, on a day-to-day basis, you identify the potential risk in particular client. So I don't want to mention the names of the clients, but for say, like, if the X company just comes and approaches, we, as a risk consultant, risk analyst, we just go into a little bit deeper into the firm's, what to say, like the hierarchy and the controls that that the firm has. So we test each and every part of the controls. And let's say it's quite similar to the data analyst, whereas a data analyst just uses the data, but we just uses analyze based on the controls that is given by the client. So yeah.
And for people who might not have much exposure to that world, what's an example of a common risk and a common control for that risk?
Okay, so let's say a company just comes and approaches us and we just analyze their data and we get to know that, hey, this particular employee should have this particular level of access to that particular, let's say, a system or a server in that particular company, but you have given a more access than of a manager or senior manager level. So there are potential risks that this particular employee can misuse the data that he has a lot of access, which probably he shouldn't have that much of access. So this is one particular example that I'm just telling. There are like many examples, like say, so we just gather the data and we just perform analysis and we say, hey, if you just go on this particular rate of speed as a development in 2025 or in 2030, you're going to achieve this particular revenue growth. And in 2030, for say that company can also degrade down level from this particular 2023, I say. So we just spotlight the company saying, you just need to focus on this particular area to avoid the discrepancies or disaster that's going to happen in later 10 years down the line to your company. So that's what it is going to look like.
Okay, cool. And then so say just I won't spend long on this, but I think people, because
Yeah.
I also worked in risk, and before I went in, I never knew what it was. So I think people will find it interesting. So just as an example, say that the risk you highlighted around the user access, too much user access for a staff member. Is there an example of a control that you could put in place to prevent that risk?
I mean, I would say there are a lot of controls, but I thought I don't want to dig deep into the technical stuff because that's going to be many grad people who's going to watch this video. I thought I can just give them a real-time basic example of that. But yes, we do focus on the ITGC controls. It's like basically say there are certain audit guidelines that are just like bundled up prior to this. It's like bundled up long time ago. So we just dig that up and we just align for this particular scenario. Say if you're going to be following under ITGC controls like GS007 controls. So we just focus on those. There are many controls like GS007, ITGCs, ITDs, NA, NAEE. So there's a lot of technical stuff. So I don't want to focus on that particular area more since there are many common people watching up there. So that's what.
Absolutely. Cool. So that makes a lot of sense. And how are you enjoying the role?
Definitely, Mackenzie. I have to say, you know my level of eagerness to just join PwC. I just showed you a lot during that time when we had conversations. But yes, uh, with all blessings, I've just been a part of PwC for. I've completed 1 year, by the way. I just have
Congrats.
to let you know this. Happy 1 year. So I just really enjoyed working with this firm, the culture, the people, your seniors, the perks, everything is just like fantastic in this firm. I love it.
That's awesome. Did you always want to work at PwC?
Definitely. I'm just gonna stress this a lot because, yeah, you know that when we just had our first conversation, you asked me about what's your dream role and dream job. I said, without any hesitation, I said PwC. I really don't know. Like, I just had a bit of passion with Big Four, just with PwC, but I'm not like haven't been. I know a few people from PwC, and might be that's the reason that they just stress a lot, saying this is the best company, the best culture, the best people. So that's developed a bit of passion towards the inner myself inside me. It's just like go to PwC and Big Four. If you're just going for a Big Four, I just think about PwC. So yeah, my passion towards it, and I just really love it. Just landed in the right spot.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do remember our call, and yeah, you were very specific. Long
Indeed,
before
yes.
you got this job, you always knew you wanted this one, and
Yes.
from memory as well, you had like I think you had 2 or 3 final round interviews with them or something with different roles.
Yes, exactly. So I'll just like to share about that. There's like 3 roles, I would say, but the third role is like I was actually dropped off in the mid third round or fourth round or something, and the other two was like one in the PwC Adelaide. The interview process was very simple. I think I might explain the interview process in the next upcoming part of this video, but on a nutshell, I just got the PwC Adelaide role as an associate. And then simultaneously, I was being interviewed for PwC Melbourne, which is like an experienced associate. It's like a small step, a baby step ahead of associate, but a baby step below a senior associate. That's what it's kind of a lateral hire. So I was interviewed for that role, being selected, gone through it. But yeah, due to some reason, I just have to select PwC Adelaide. But yeah, just got 2 roles from PwC. I just expected for one, just got 2, just because of this McKinsey.
That's so awesome. Where should we go next? So it wasn't always an easy process. I mean, being a student and a graduate looking to break into your dream company, even just a job in your field, can be a bit of a challenge and a bit of a headache. How did you do it? What was your secret?
Um, there's not particular any secret or something. It's like first thing is be passionate on which particular dream job that you wanted to land. I was very particular in that, and I was like, it's not like I was not focusing on any small companies as well. I have also got a couple of small companies when I was interviewed for PwC, but my primary goal was to land in PwC. So I was very particular in that. The next thing is like nobody just, I mean, they care about it, but what they care is your ability to speak and ability to just express your passion towards that particular firm. Because when someone is just spending a lot of time and just sit in front of you and just recruiting you, the recruiter's mind is going to look like, hey, what would this particular person bring in value to my firm? So technical part, being very strong in technical part can be secondary part, but the primary should be you have to show your passion towards that particular company and your willingness and eagerness towards that particular company. This is what something that's more important, and this is what something that I just followed and I just expressed it to the recruiters in front of me during those times.
Mm. And you got your interviews with PwC through job applications, right?
Yes, one role that I'm currently in PwC Adelaide is through the formal conventional way of application, just like go to the careers website, just place an application and upload your CV and get back just like 1 month or something. So this is the conventional way. The PWC Melbourne ones that I just got hired is completely non-conventional because I've even never heard of this particular scenario. You stressing me on the cold messagings through LinkedIn. I still remember that I was doing a lot of cold messaging. It's totally fine. It's sometimes I feel embarrassed, like after going to the firm, hey, I think I messaged you during the initial startup time. I just work with those colleagues. It's totally fine. At the end of the day, your ultimate goal is to get the job, no matter what. Like you don't have to worry about it. So there are many faces that I just come across in my office day to day, wherein I just cold message them saying, hey, this is my current role. This is my role that I'm just going to apply. I'm really willing to this particular firm XYZ. So yeah, I just strictly followed on cold messaging. I used to message like at least 40 to 50 people on a day-to-day basis. So when there's one particular director of the firm, he was extremely busy. He just reached me out by God's grace. He just reached me out and he said like, I'm on leave. I'm gonna be reaching you out after I just come back from my leave. He did that potentially, and he reached me out, and then we just had a couple of conversations. It's not a live conversation. It's a virtual ones. So he was interested on my CV and my previous past experience. So what he did is he just shared the CV to the hiring manager for that particular role. So this is completely non-conventional ones. I have never applied to that PwC Melbourne ones. It's completely through, I wouldn't say it's a referral ones, but yeah, suddenly the hiring manager gave me a call. She asked for my CV. I sent through the CV, and then she later on passed on to the next steps, which is the normal method of recruiting stuffs. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, that's cool. So I guess there are two main approaches, right, to getting jobs, either the applications or kind of the hidden jobs, which is through cold messaging and things like that. So that's awesome that you got results using both strategies.
Yeah, it's really fantastic because I've never heard of this term cold messaging. I know the meaning of cold messaging, but I haven't never experienced that it's gonna work or not. Since after just putting these things into on a real time basis, I just got to know that it is a fantastic way. I wish I could have just known this cold messaging on my early 20s.
So, what would you say? Yeah, because you got a job within about 3 months of graduating. Wait, how long did it take?
Okay. Firstly, I graduated from Monash University December 2021. So got my degree in 2021 December. I did my master's in data science, Monash Melbourne, and later I think I reached out Mackenzie in the first week of Jan, and when we started communicating and rehearsing the interview stuffs. I think, I got not 3 months Mackenzie. It's like within one month, no, 1.5 months.
Of graduating? Oh, of joining?
Yeah, after graduating. Because I just joined the Adelaide ones like 2022 of March. I just got my offer letter like Feb 20 or mid of Feb. Yeah, Feb 15 I got it, which is like 1.5 months of communicating with you.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's pretty quick.
It is, yeah.
Sometimes, as you know, people spend a lot of time job searching, but you finished your masters, went in. I'm just trying to find the data here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've got in my spreadsheet 35 days from after joining. Grad jobs.
Yeah, slightly over a month. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so your secret sauce. So having a specific goal and niching down into something you're really passionate about. Making sure you work on your communication and can clearly communicate your passion for the company. Any other like little tips that you have for people on job searching? Say for example, a classic scenario, they're applying to loads of jobs and they're just not really getting results. They're feeling disheartened. They wake up every morning to just rejection emails. What would you tell someone like this?
Well, definitely I would say I have got a lot of rejection emails. I just wake up Scroll through my mobile Gmail. I just opened my Gmail and see a lot of this. I mean, rejection emails, which is like it's part of the process because either you get selected or you get rejected. It should happen either way. So if you're not getting selected, obviously you're gonna get rejected. So you're gonna have to take it as light as possible. But I know it's not gonna be easy. But all you have to do is you have to take it as light as possible, and that's what I did. I never cared about this rejection emails, but what particular thing I focused on is I just reach out to that particular hiring manager through LinkedIn or something. I just ask them the reason because most of the Australian firms, I mean not Australian firms, most of the firms that never provide you the particular exact reason for, rejecting you because every company looks for a different particular personalities in different persons. So I know I might be lacking that personality. I want to know what that personality is. So I just reach out to them. But some people, if I receive 50 people, not 50 people is gonna tell. 50 people are just gonna reply me back saying, "Hey, I've rejected you based on this." So at least like 5 people from that 50 is gonna reach me out and say, "Hey, I was looking for this particular option. I mean, this particular qualities in the CV which was lacking in you. I want to see what quality is that, and then I just wanted to correct that." So this is what I used to do when I just get a rejection emails, but I used to get a lot of rejection emails. There's not any secret sauce, Mackenzie. It's like just followed what you have done in your course. So you have pretty much intact details that is required for anyone with like zero knowledge, not technical knowledge, but other interpersonality skills. They can just come and crack the interviews at any point of cost. So that's what I personally felt that your course is like adding a bit of value to what I just look forward to it. So that's the reason.
Awesome. Yeah. I really appreciate your kind words about the program. So what you if we could simplify it down for people, say they don't join the program and they just want a couple of little tips, of how. What does Dhana recommend? It seems to me one thing, it's actually you've put in a very high amount of effort. So you're saying, you're going to message 30, 40, 50 people maybe in a day or even in a week. For most people, that's a huge number. I know people who are job searching, they might message 10 people in total and then they get really sad and they stop, and that's over like maybe a month. And they say it's not working, I'm not getting any results, but you're totally right. You've got to have the right kind of expectation. If you're messaging someone out of the blue who might not even be active on that platform, they don't even know you exist before that point, and they're not all going to respond, right?
Exactly, it is. Because when I was a student, I used to say like, I've just messaged this person like 3 days ago. It's like 24 hours. Why is he not replying me back? I was like, then I just joined the firm. I was working 9 to 5. Then I used to get to know like working 9 to 5, balancing your household essential stuff. It's pretty hard to balance those things. Then I just got to know like, okay, it's fair enough. This particular person, it's like 3 days. I even reply like 5 days or 4 days later on. But still, it is what it is because when you just message to a person on LinkedIn, either one thing, he might not be active on LinkedIn at all. Just for the professional purpose, he might have the LinkedIn account. Two, you can't expect that person to reply back. It's very rare scenario that the person replies back in, let's say, less than 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours or something. Approx, it's gonna take 2 to 3 days. You just have to be very patient during that time. Not very patient. You just need to think about what type of reply he's gonna put us back. So you just need to be prepared of that particular reply. So yeah, it's all like trial and error methods, Mackenzie. You just put in something, you don't know what you're gonna expect back. So it is what it is.
And that's another big thing you're talking about. I mean, if we can give people some practical tips and things they can take away, one would obviously be like all those things you said, and increasing the volume, putting in a lot of work, kind of lowering your expectations a little bit, and understanding that not everything's just going to magically turn into an offer. One
exactly, yes.
one other thing I would like to ask you about is more the resume side of things. So how important do you think resumes are, and do you have any tips on resumes?
Okay. I would say keep it as simple as possible, because not every hiring managers, if they are hiring like let's say thousands and thousands of resumes at one point of time, they can't just scan it like every new bits and pieces of the resume. So what I've tried to say is like, forget about the hobbies. Nobody cares about your hobbies, because what a firm is gonna keep up with your hobbies. That's completely your personal time. So no firm is gonna focus on your hobbies. I would say what kind of achievements that you have done. It's like it's totally fine to say, hey, I've just worked in X company previously for X amount of Y amount of years. That's totally fine. Don't highlight that. Highlight what is the achievements that you have done in that particular firm. That's what the company is going to look like. A firm is spending up a lot of money on you, hiring you, and giving you a lot of trainings and certification stuff. The company is going to put in a lot of money when they're going to hire you. So what is that you in return going to give to that particular company who's going to spend a lot of amount on you? So let's say like, hey, this is a particular scenario in my previous company. I have achieved this in X amount of time, which was quite impossible for a new fresh joiner to just achieve that task, but I have done that. It's kind of like not over exaggerating, but just precisely say to them that what kind of achievement you have done in that particular firm. That is what they're gonna look like. And if you want, you can just bold and highlight that particular achievement. Totally acceptable.
100%. It's funny you say that about the hobbies. I used to have that view. I used to think that, it's kind of just, purely professional. But then I did, one thing happened that changed my mind on it when one of my clients, he had because sometimes in our summary in the resume, we like to put something unique to catch someone's attention. So, instead of just saying, I'm a graduate with experience, we might put something funny like, this client, he put professional badminton player. That was like the first word. And people, obviously, when you read that, you think, wow, that's really interesting. Like, whoa, why is this person here? It kind of catches their attention. And then at the bottom, he also had a section on interests, which had one of his favorite soccer teams and badminton and stuff. So before this point, I was kind of on the fence about this. But then in the interview, his whole interview was about badminton and soccer. And he just got the job like right away, just because he liked him so much. And then once I kind of opened my mind to that, I started seeing it more and more and more. So I think definitely there's a group of people who will say, look, just don't bother. There's also a group of people who probably will add it in, and some people who maybe do it too much. But I think there might be a place for it. I would put it, but you're right.
Definitely, yes.
Definitely, it is. I think achievement focused resumes are the way to go, right? I mean, people aren't as worried about whether you've done a thing, but have you done it well?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least not like the companies that has tons and tons of resumes following up on particular day-to-day basis. So I mean, those well-run, reputed, big shot companies. I mean, sometimes there are chances to look for your hobbies, but most of the time they are not going to look at your hobbies. If you wanted to just highlight it, hey, I'm a good table tennis player, I'm a good soccer player, I would say you could highlight it to that particular person or hiring manager or the recruiter during the time of the interview itself. So if you just highlight it during that time, that could bring up a new, different conversation along with it. So,
you're a table tennis player, right?
Oh yes.
The office champion, I heard.
I mean, yeah, there was a competition happened and I was just new to that firm. And I thought I'd love to make some kind of an impression. I thought I can just make it the table tennis. That was an opportunity that all aligned together at the same time. Wasn't expecting that, but yeah, it's cool. And yeah, there's heaps and heaps of people playing table tennis after that.
That's awesome. So everyone knows your name now. They chant your name. Dhana.
Oh yeah,
Dhana.
not at least with Dana. I mean the table tennis guy.
The table tennis guy.
I mean, yeah, at least like that. I like, hey, my name is Dana.
That's so funny.
But yeah, it's good. It's good. So whenever you just come to the firm or just going in, stepping into new, have to make some kind of an impression, either through work or through some extracurricular activities or anything like that. That's what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I remember at KPMG we had a table tennis competition as well, and yeah, I think the people who end up getting to the finals, they definitely build a reputation, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, although we could probably talk for hours longer. If
Sure, definitely.
before we finish up, do you have any final tips, pieces of advice, or things you want to say to people watching this who, they also want to get their dream job, they want to follow in your footsteps?
Okay. So, like, once we summarize this particular scenario area, I would say if someone is looking forward to just join PWC Adelaide, welcome in, guys. There's lots and lots of doors open, and I would say that's the only company during this recession time is just welcoming a lot of grad people. So I just wanted to highlight this. If you wanted to go on, just try searching the careers website for PWC Adelaide. They're welcoming a lot of people in during this time. Cool. And when we just summarize it, I would say don't focus too much on your resume. It is also a part of this process. Like as Mackenzie says, it's always better to send it to Mackenzie for a quick review. Like he has that particular scanning eyes where he knows that particular scenario, if that's going to work for that particular company or not. So when you're getting an interview call from a particular company, say some X company, make sure you have a bit of research about that company. One pro tip is when you're into that interview process, speaking to a recruiter, when you have researched about that particular company and you have a conversation with them, they're going to be very much pleased, because having said that, you have not joined the company at all, but you have took some effort to research about the company. When you're having a conversation with that particular ex-recruiter about that particular company's achievements, they're going to be pleased at one single shot, for sure. It's a pro tip, so you can definitely follow this. 100% it's going to work, I bet.
Awesome. Anything else? Are we done?
Cold messaging, as I said before. So just patience is the key for cold messaging. So never expect a reply from people overnight. It's not gonna happen overnight, because I remember from day 2 I started cold messaging after I just covered the concept of cold messaging on the course. I started doing that at least minimum 50, and 50 is the best mark, I would say. Anything more than 50, it's super. So highly appreciated. So start cold messaging people and expect very minimal replies or no replies at all. So that's what the reality is. Don't expect a lot of replies. And once you get the cold messaging, you wanted to know how you bring that conversation to offer letter. That's what more important is. So focus on cold messaging, have some tips from Mackenzie. And before interview process, I would definitely say have some interview rehearsals from Mackenzie. I remember still have the Excel file that Mackenzie and we used to just jiggle around and have some interview conversations. So it's quite informative. It's quite efficient as well. When you have a rehearsal before you just perform, it's always the better result you're going to get at the end. So I think that's the tips from my side, Mackenzie. I think you are the book for those particular pro tips. So I think make use of Mackenzie properly. That's the pro tip. That's the tip of the tip, I'm gonna say. So use Mackenzie wisely, because he's a book of knowledge, and how wisely you use, efficiently you're gonna get the result.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you to say that. And thank you for your tips. I think there are a lot of very, very good tips there. If people are trying to follow in your footsteps, if they even just take away one or two of those and start applying them, I'm sure they'll get much better results, and hopefully they'll land their dream job as well, like you have.
Lovely, Mackenzie. Anytime. All the very best for every person who's watching this video, and just complete your grad, and a fantastic job is waiting for you guys. Enjoy a lot.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll leave it there. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Dhana for your time. As always, appreciate it, and keep in touch.
Definitely, Mackenzie, for sure. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you.